that we should be further into the year.
Yeah, feels like it.
But we shouldn't wish our time away because this last year went so fast.
It did. It did.
Right?
Yes.
So today, don't go anywhere. What we're going to be talking about are growth goals in 2025. So super excited about talking about that. But first, let's talk about a couple little things that this is, I have a note. There's a first live of the year. Still like crazy that it's the 8th.
I know. Already.
Yes. But
only.
I know. It's like two things can be true
Yeah.
at one time. You know, we talk about that all the time around here. Spiritual growth workshop this weekend. In December's we don't have a spiritual growth workshop. So this is our first one since November.
Yeah.
It seems like I've really missed it. I'm super excited
Me too.
about it this weekend. So
Yeah.
there Two will drop an announcement down there in the comments. So make sure that you check it out. We did last year go to RSVPs because we had an incident where
We had a weird thing happen.
and somebody had gotten the link to the Zoom. We used to post it publicly, never had any issues. And then
We had some issues.
that, to say the least. Yeah, I can still.
It was crazy.
It was. A bunch of people just came in and rushed in and started chanting and everything like that. So we are protecting our links. We have RSVP, which will shoot you a little ticket that you can
Log
put
in
there.
with.
Yeah, and it's convenient too because what it'll do is, you have to we have on our website, you register on the website and then you're able to RSVP. So you can go back to the website and get the link very easily. Or also what you can do is add it to your calendar from the confirmation email that you get, and then you just go, it'll be on your calendar and you just click it, go to your calendar.
Super easy.
Super easy. So let's go to, I've missed our chit chat. Of
I
course,
know.
we chit chat every day, but
Yeah.
I miss chit chatting here.
Yeah.
So let's chit chat. Okay, back from vacay.
Yeah.
We have not seen y'all since we have been back from vacation.
Yeah.
We closed the ministry about the last 2 weeks of the month to give us time, with our families and give us time to recoup, but then also have a couple days to get back in action.
Yeah.
So we haven't talked about our vacation.
That's true.
I had a wonderful time. Tell me about your vacation.
Well, I had a staycation. Yeah, I didn't go
Which is
anywhere
funny
this year.
because you usually go out of
Yes,
town.
this is the
but
first time.
All your family moved here.
They did. All but one. We still have one Lone Ranger.
One holdout.
But yeah, he moved to Kentucky, but he's not in Mississippi anymore. But yes, he came down and was here for a couple weeks too. My little brother. Yeah, everybody's here now. My parents are here. So if they weren't here, we would probably still be traveling. But nope, they're here, and my older brother's here with his family. So it was really neat. It was different to not travel for work for the holidays this year and to just be around. But I'm gonna tell you, I don't think I did any less.
Right?
I don't think I think I thought I would have more downtime, more chill time. I thought, I'll be home, I can get some things done. No, I had no less time. It was just as busy for the holiday. But you got to travel.
I did.
And you had a good time?
I had an excellent time. We traveled and saw both of our boys.
Yeah.
And my daughter-in-law, my daughter-in-love.
Aww.
And it was fantastic. My nephew and his girlfriend came with us, and we had a wonderful, wonderful time.
Oh, good.
I keep telling people about this, but we did a life-size Monopoly game.
It sounds like it was really
It
cool.
was so much fun. And people are like, what does that even look like? But you walk along, you go into this room. First of all, it's almost like, how when they have I hate to say haunted houses, but you know what I mean? Those houses partitioned off where you go through like a maze or something like that. And because they had a couple games going on at one time. So you go through, they take you into this room, and it's just ornately decorated with all things Monopoly.
That's so cool.
And they have, I don't know what to call it, not the ringleader, but like two game masters, and they're all decked out in Monopoly clothing, and it's really cute, and there's like lights and everything. But instead of buying properties, what you have is each like property is like an escape room. And so you have to go in there and you have to do a challenge and things like that. So it was really fun.
That's
it was
cool.
kind of different
Yeah.
and fun. And we did glass blowing.
That's fun. That sounds like
I
fun.
didn't ski, but the boys did skiing and zip lining, ropes course. They just had all things adrenaline happening, and so it was a lot. It was a lot of fun. And
Very
each
cool.
night we'd stay up late and play games.
Yay.
It was a lot. It was a lot of fun. I'm trying to
Nice.
think. I know there was a million other things. Were you at what is it? Red Rocks Amphitheater. They had a drive-through Christmas light show.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, it was so awesome. It was just beautiful. It was just like all these LED lights and
Wow.
had a sync to music.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty fun.
That sounds like
I
a
say pretty
blast.
fun. It was a blast. It was a blast. So we are back from vacation though, and man, it's been a little not tough to get back in the swing of things, but it's like you go on vacation and you go in a black hole, then you come back and you're like, what were we doing?
I know. You're like,
what were we doing? What
warm
did we
your
do?
engine back up.
I know. Because we were like, go, 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 go. Vacation, go, 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 go when we come back. Because there's so many exciting things that we have planned
Yeah.
for this year. One of the exciting things that we're not doing, but we're involved with is up in Canton, Texas, Radiant Life School of Ministry.
Yeah.
We went up there helping Pastor Earl get, he's the dean of the school. And so getting things kicked off there. And I went up there last night. Was it last night?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It was like so quick. Went up there last night and the first day, first session, and
Yeah.
it's just so neat. And I'll tell you what, it's really a very, very neat church up there. And their youth are so exuberant, and the youth just, oh my gosh, they just love God so much. And it was just a fantastic time.
That's awesome.
To see all, and just like I said, the youth there is so involved, but just really all ages there that go there. It's really just an incredible church, and they have just a wonderful community, and just going to be a wonderful school.
That's so
there.
neat.
Yeah. So super pumped about that to be, part in starting that.
I bet it was fun
It's
to be around that energy
fun.
and,
I know, it's
just
to be around
exciting.
people that love God. Like we're always a fan of that.
Yeah.
So, super, super, super fun.
just pumps you up more, when you're around that.
It really does. And just to, like I said, just to see people so sold out for God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's neat.
It was an amazing night to get it started, and it's just many more nights like that to come.
Yay.
Another update that we wanted to talk about, that I wanted to talk about. Remember, we had a mouse in the house?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he did not. He is still cohabitating here at the ministry, as we have found.
Yeah.
And so we had to up our capture game.
Yes, we did.
Christina went to a professional place. Had
We
a
a lesson in rat catching, rat living, and how to do it and how it goes and
we
what
learned
to
some
do.
interesting things.
Yeah, definitely.
It was so funny because we were like, we need some poison to put in here, and they're like, no.
Do not put it in the inside the building. They were like, if you put it inside, it'll just attract them to come inside because they'll be drawn to it. And so they were like, put it outside. I was like, well, if it's inside, if I keep finding that it's in the building and I put it outside, is it going to be drawn to it? She said, oh yeah, definitely. You could put it across the field and it would be drawn to it. So,
And I know there's going to be somebody that's like, how could you kill a mouse? Like, don't come for us. This is.
you should see the havoc this thing has wreaked.
He just, and it's like, I think there's just one where it's just wants to peek its head out every once in a while, torment the dogs, scare us, and ugh. Exactly.
Ugh.
I'm a girl.
I know.
I can't
I
handle,
told
they can't, I'm not compatible.
I was putting the stuff out and I said, this is a boy job. I just want you to know this is a boy job. This is not a girl job, but I will do the boy job today.
I'm like, you're my hero.
Yeah. It wasn't too bad though. It was pretty easy. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty simple. It was a girl that showed me how to do it and how to use
I
it.
was going to say,
Yeah.
she's the one that knew everything
Yep.
and told you.
Yeah.
About
She was
it.
really educated on it. She said they like protein, so that's why people put peanut butter and stuff a lot of times. Like, I don't know why cheese was ever a thing from cartoons.
It's going to have protein, right?
I guess so. But well, yeah, I think it has a little bit, but not, I don't know. But she was like Vienna sausages, things like that. I was like, it makes sense.
I know.
If
So
they're attracted to protein.
hopefully it will just drift outside and we will never meet again.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh gosh, I hope so.
I know. Well, really, our building's in the middle of a field.
That's what I told her.
We've been very blessed. I think when we moved in, we had a mouse.
We did.
And we got
Yeah.
that mouse was no longer very quickly.
Yeah.
But this mouse is like he's taunting.
He wants to live here.
Us, and he doesn't want to go. And even with the dogs will
I know.
like
Poor dogs.
every once in a while we'll hear him start barking.
Or scratch at something. They're like, he's been in here.
We're not made for the mouse life.
No, I'm not a country girl. I am a city girl. I am a city girl who likes to visit the country every now and then where someone else maintains all of that.
Not the mice.
It's beautiful. The country's lovely. I'm not meant to live there.
No. I just want to get the mouse gone.
Oh my gosh.
And it was funny because I was asking her. I said, "How are we going to know when it's gone? We'll just not see it anymore."
Oh gosh. I just think about, ugh. I guess so.
I know. It'll just be gone.
Yeah.
We'll just believe it.
Yeah.
In faith, this mouse is gone.
That's right.
Okay, enough mouse talk. We probably grossed everybody out. But it's crazy to have to deal with a little mouse.
It is. I don't know if he's little.
No, Rob and I were up here and Rocco identified which bin he was in. And Rob's like, I'm going to poke this and you look on the other side. And sure enough, like Rob poked it and moved the bin and it jumped out of a little tiny hole, like, the handle of the bin and jumped out. Woo!
And
I
you
scared myself.
And you saw, and you,
I'm like, ah!
so you saw the size of it.
Yeah. But you know me, like if I see an animal, it's like it was the size of the building.
I know. The mouse traps that we got some like, safe traps or whatever. And I was like, are you sure that's going to be big enough? And she goes, this will catch a garden snake. And I thought, oh, well, that's good if we ever need to catch a garden snake.
Ugh.
Anyway, so.
He looked pretty fat.
Yeah.
He's gotten fatter since he's lived here.
Well, yeah.
Like
He's been
I had a whole bag
habitating in here.
dog treats that were not even opened, and the mouse opened it itself and started snacking. So disgusting.
Gross.
So disgusting. So if anybody has any mouse catching
Yeah.
tips, we would love to
For
hear.
sure.
Hopefully these little bait stations or whatever they're
Do the
called.
trick.
Yeah, they'll just have a call to the wild and just go outside.
I know. We had the bin for the bucket that the food comes in because you have to put it in these
The food.
the food. It's called peanut butter. Poison.
Ew.
Well, I opened it and I put the stuff out and then I was like, well, what are we going to do with this? Because they will chew through this. But I guess
They
they
chew through the
store it
treats?
at their store.
They have to.
It's on the shelves in their store.
So we put it in like a 5-gallon bucket
We put-
and put the lid. So
Yeah.
he's gonna have to work for it.
Real
if
hard.
He does that.
Yeah. So, and it's easier to get the stuff outside than it is to work for the stuff inside.
That's true. So maybe he'll go the path of least resistance.
We're trying. We're trying.
We're trying to get rid of this guy.
Yes. It's been going on for a minute.
It has.
Yeah.
Even to the point where, like, some insulation. Like, is it trying to make a nest? Is
right?
it trying
It's
to, like
like
a bird
there's
and
like-
trying to gather?
Yeah. Like clumps of dirt and stuff. I was like, I think he is trying to build a nest.
Is it a
But
sheep?
I guess they find, and that we do not want more. So
They're so die, mice, die.
Well, it
I
finds
just want them gone.
blankets and stuff. So anyway, we're done. We're done with the
We're
rat.
done.
We're done.
We
We're
gotta-
ready. We're ready for it to
So
be over.
hopefully soon we can be an all clear update. We're like, we haven't even seen, heard, the dogs haven't been suspicious
No.
of any of the bins or anything. So on to more exciting things.
Yes.
We want to increase the chance that you reach your growth goals in 2025. And as a way to increase your chance, we have, I think I listed out seven ways. Because if you think about like a growth goal, what is even a growth goal? A growth goal is, it's like, you know what? I have identified this area of my life and I want to grow in this area of my life. Because we always advocate here that you don't have to be completely radical. Just do a little bit at a time. But I encourage everybody that's listening here, think of something that you want to upgrade in your life this year. Maybe you avoid problems and you say to yourself, let's just not, if I avoid 50 problems, let me only avoid 40 problems this year. Like it doesn't have to be insane, the amount of change. Like I think people get this black and white, it's all or it's none. And
Yeah.
I think you really miss it. All you want to do is to level up in a certain area.
Yeah.
Even like with video games, like the video games, you don't go from level 1 to level 99. Like they make these intermediate steps, these intermediate levels that you go through. So I want you to kind of think of it like that. So stop for just a second and be intentional. Take out your phone. You
Right.
have notes on your phone. Write just one thing that you want to grow in for this year.
Yeah.
One thing that you want to improve. One thing you want to level up. Again, it doesn't have to be completely just life shattering, but do something. Because if you are intentional about something, I promise you will achieve it. But if you're not intentional about it and you don't kind of put it in front of your face and meditate and to think on it, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
And
I actually was cleaning out a piece of furniture of mine the other day, and
piece?
my armoire. I was trying to put
I'm like, what are you painting? What are you doing?
No, I want to get rid of it. I have I have a TV stand that has drawers and I have some baskets over my cabinets and stuff. So I was trying to clean it out so I can take pictures of it so I can sell it. And I've done this before. I will, like, if I have these things that I want to accomplish, like, and I think I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that or whatever, I'll just make a list. If it's bugging me, like, oh, I got to do this, I need to do that, I'll just write a whole list out and just write it down. Well, I found a list the other day and it's usually stuff that I'm like, I don't know when I'll ever get to that.
Yeah.
And I looked at that list and there were about 3 or 4 things I could mark off of it. And that's happened before. I'll find a list from a year ago and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I did
that.
all those things. And I do think what you're saying about write it down, and I think it does
So
help with the
important.
intentionality of it. And it's something that I didn't even look at it again. But when I pulled that list out the other day, I was like, oh, it's just so cool to see some of the things I was able to take off of it.
Absolutely. So write it down. Like I said, even just the act of writing it, like it's like a prophetic act.
Yes.
To claim it. I just say name it and claim it. But like as a prophetic act, say, Lord, I don't know how I can do this, but I believe that this is something that you want me to do in my life.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really put this down here. Excuse me. But I mean, to me, it's just a given. Anything that you try to level up in, anything, like let it be a God thing. Like don't you set it yourself. Like I think everybody, we're so used to, like we'll pick ourselves apart about what we would change about ourselves. But really, God just wants to reveal himself through us. And so a lot of things that you would try to change about you, God's not trying to change about you. So you really have to make sure it aligns spiritually with what he's doing in your life. You know what I mean? It's like some people are like, let me make $1 million this year. Nothing wrong. Like, but if it's spirit led, if it's not spirit led, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So just, a caveat that should always be a given in your life, that it's spirit led.
Yeah.
Because you want to do the plans the Father has for you.
Right.
So to increase your chances of obtaining your growth goals, one, like I hope you have your goal in your mind. I hope you've written it down. Make it, like I said, simple, simplistic. What is God? First place to start. What is God doing in your life? Figure out what he's doing in your life and make it around there. But one, like a tip, just in general, to become comfortable being uncomfortable. That is huge.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, life isn't comfortable. But why do we have this obsession with comfort? Why do we think that somehow, like, we equate, if we have an easy life, then it's a good life?
Right.
Like we've totally been bamboozled, just tricked into this comfort mindset, and we will pay. You will pay for your comfort. And I don't mean like, just like God wants you to have a hard life and suffer and things like that. But like if you go to the gym and you're working out, your muscle, literally the process, like it tears apart to rebuild, right? And you go to the gym, you went to the gym recently. Is it like when you haven't been moving something for a hot minute, it's uncomfortable.
It's rough. The first day I was like, I am dying. It's been a minute.
But
yeah.
it produces good fruit.
The second day it was night and day. I was shocked how quickly, I forget how quickly you can bounce back. You got to push through that really first hard day.
But why do we have the mindset with like emotional stuff and mental stuff that it's like, ooh, if it is uncomfortable, then it's bad and I have to avoid it. I have to get rid of it. We don't think that way about going to the gym.
Right.
Like we don't have those mindsets about other things, but literally if it's something, like, oh my gosh, I lifted this weight. Oh, I better never do it again because it felt bad and it felt uncomfortable. And so I'm never going to do it again.
Right.
Like we have to really begin to reassess being uncomfortable. Now, I'm not talking about putting yourself in in a situation of chaos or something with danger, something that's dangerous or needless, like torturing yourself or anything like that. But seriously, like you can be a little uncomfortable. And if you have a practice of going outside of your comfort zone every day, then by the end of the year, you've done 365 days of little tiny uncomfortable things. And that adds up. You don't have to like go jump out of an airplane. If you're afraid of heights, you don't have to go jump out of an airplane. There's steps that you can do, to expose yourself to being a little bit uncomfortable every day so that you can move out of your comfort zone without it being like causing a panic attack or, or something like that, or to be so uncomfortable that you never want to do it again.
Right.
But you just have to get in that mindset.
Yeah. And it really is like, there's so much to consistency, but I think one of the things, the mindset is difficult for, maybe not everybody, but for some people is like, I think you've said this before, because when I think about it, I think about what you've said. Like, not every day is graduation day.
That's right.
Not every day is pay the debt off day. Not every day is
that's one tiny
reach the goal
day.
Usually it's all the days in between, and there's one day where you hit the goal or you achieve the thing or you grow past what you're working towards or to the next level of something. And it's those consistency days that where you really might see an effect along the way.
Yes.
But you just kind of are going and it doesn't feel like you're doing anything, but every day you're just doing it and it adds up. But you have to have a mindset of longevity.
Yes.
You can't have a mindset of this is going to happen tomorrow. You need to keep your goal in your mind and a picture of it in front of you.
Yeah.
But you have to remember that you're not going to wake up tomorrow and that's what it's going to be.
I know. And that's a good point, because it's so important is that we say this here all the time too. Like, you have get an eternal perspective, not a circumstantial perspective.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do and be consistent at it, and just keep moving towards your goal. And it's okay if it's a little uncomfortable. Not every day is going to be a 10. Not every
Right.
day is going to be a 1.
Right.
You will live your life in the journey.
Yeah.
And so, and learn how to enjoy the uncomfortableness. Like, have you ever been like a little bit sore and you stretch out and it's like, oh, that feels so good. That's what discomfort can feel like. That getting out of your comfort zone, it actually can learn to feel good, to be stretched a little bit, but you don't have to stretch it so you pop your muscle. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You rip your muscle out.
Usually if I'm sore, I'll want to work out the next day because then I'll feel better.
Yeah. And you don't get stiff.
Yeah.
You feel better. And you're like, oh, look, I have a better range of motion.
Yeah.
I have more strength. I have growth in the way of discomfort. Discomfort is good for growth.
Yep.
Because it does. We could do a whole night about that.
Yeah.
So 1, become comfortable being uncomfortable. 2, I love this one. This one to me is so important. Radical honesty with self. Man, I hate to call people these little liars, but we will lie to ourselves. You will lie to yourself. And you know how I know that? Because I lie to myself.
Yeah,
You lie
me
to
too.
yourself. Everybody lies to themselves. Like, before we lie to somebody, we lie to ourselves. And so it's really, really important that we learn to be honest. And man, we could do a whole workshop on this alone also, because if you begin to think about it, some of the reasons around why we have a hard time being honest with ourselves, besides just the obvious ones, are we begin to form attachments to identities, right? Like, I'm gonna rat you out.
What?
Remember, we went, we were having a group or something, and I said, you're nice, but that's not your best characteristic. Was it
Kind.
but it's not her best characteristic.
You'd be like, describe yourself. I'd be like, kind.
kind.
And
I'm
you're
like,
like,
no.
that is not the top. You have
Yeah.
kindness in you, but you're not. We would not be like, Christina, first thought, kind. What?
We saw very unkind.
I'm sure I just was like,
but that's a perfect example of that. And I know, like, what I said to you is that's not the first descriptive word somebody would say about me either.
Yeah.
Are you kind? Exceedingly kind. Am I kind? Exceedingly kind. But when we begin to say, when we begin to attach ourselves to identities, especially as Southern women, we want to be what?
kind and nice and sweet,
and
confrontational.
yeah. But that's not who we are.
No.
And to be able to be honest with ourselves, it takes us not forming sub-identities. Like, our only identity has to come from what the Bible says about us, what Jesus says about you. Because if not, then we have formed these attachments to things. And if I need to be kind, what are we going to do? We're going to lie to ourselves because it would be too threatening to have anything that would come against that identity.
Yeah.
Just like, I'll say, growing up, I came up from a military household. My dad was in the military, so I came up from a military household. Well, one thing you couldn't be was lazy. Like, and what lazy equaled is basically you stop moving. If you stop moving, or you're not doing chores, you're not doing stuff like that, like, there wasn't a high priority on downtime and things like that. There's nothing wrong. Like, it doesn't make you lazy, but everybody has these things that they begin to associate with.
Yeah.
So, like, for many, many years, it was hard for me to relax. It was hard for me to, and already I have a personality that's kind of go anyway. And so to say, okay, you can rest and not be lazy. I know that you picked that up, I believe, too,
Yeah.
in your family.
I did.
To where,
Although my family does, they all chill. They're all, but there was a message of like,
Yeah.
of that. If I was, not with my friends, why aren't you with your friends? Why aren't you hanging out? Why are you, I just want to be home.
Yeah.
Or my friends are all busy. I don't know. But
No, and it's just
Yeah.
like, so what would happen if you took a nap?
Oh, I didn't take naps.
No, I mean like now in life.
Oh,
Before.
Oh, there was, I don't know. That wasn't even a thing. I guess my dad would sometimes, but nobody.
No, I'm talking about you.
Oh, if I
in
do
your adult
now?
life.
Oh, now I don't feel like I mind now.
Not now,
Mm-hmm.
but when I first met you.
Oh, I would be like, oh my gosh, I
Let's find the
slept.
timetable.
Because my naps would be like 2-3 hours, and I'd be like, I wasted the day. I didn't get anything done.
But the truth is,
I'm so lazy.
It restored you.
Yeah.
It reset your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like those were very, very good things. And the reason I point that out is we all have stuff like that. We all have stuff like yours were naps. Or
Yeah.
if you took
Yes.
downtime,
Oh, yeah.
then you would really beat yourself up.
Yeah, I would be like, I haven't got anything done today. I haven't done anything all day. I've wasted the day.
Now we were happy to report you can take
100%. I can
Nap.
rot. I
That's
can
right.
have a rot day.
because you had to learn how to give yourself permission to do that.
Yeah.
I've had to learn how to give myself permission to do things. And you really do. What do you feel guilty about? What do you feel bad about? Because chances are, and this is all tied to being radically honest with yourself, is because the honest truth was, do you like to take naps?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there anything wrong with taking a nap?
No.
No, it's just the associations and the identities that you had with it.
Right.
And I remember, like growing up too, nobody could be sick. You couldn't be
Oh,
sick.
yeah.
You got, if you'd have to, I mean, if you had 110 fever, which you can't have, but I'm exaggerating, but you still had to go to work. You still had to perform. You still had to do those things. In my mind, I'm not even saying my parents would say that. But
Yeah.
if you notice that people will say something and then you'll have, as a kid, you get an impression from that. And my impression was, okay, you can never get sick. And so like, it took me a long time to be like, you know what? You can have a sick day.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I had to literally be like, it's okay. Because we will lie to ourselves. Because I'd be like, I'm not sick. You'd be like, I'm not going to take a nap. I'm fine.
Nope. I'm good. I can push through.
Do you need extra restoring time?
I do.
Yeah.
I definitely do.
But in your mind, it was like, okay, I don't want to be that person that
Yeah.
needs that.
Oh,
I didn't want to be the person that would
Right.
have to take a day off when I was sick. And I challenge y'all to what are the rules that you put on yourself that you can't even be honest with yourself about because it attacks an identity that you have. You were going to say something?
Oh, I saw a video the other day, and it was this girl, and she was sitting on the couch, and she had her Kindle little stand, the little clicker, and then he was playing video games next to her, and she's like, we love this. And I like,
That's neat that they can say that.
Yeah, because other people, like, there's other people, they want to go and do and be outdoors. And these are people who they like being home and sit. And I would have in the past felt bad about wanting that life, I like to be active and go do things, but I love stay home and chill, like, most of the time. And so I saw that and I was like, I love that. I love that they found each other. They both like to do that. They're fine with it. Yeah. I don't know. But that was something in me that I was like, oh, there's something wrong, that I don't want to just be go all the time.
And like I said, it's so important to learn how to be radically honest with yourself. Like I said, and I want you to think about it. When you're lying to yourself or when you suspect you might be lying to yourself, I promise there's usually some identity, some false message that you have attached to that quality, to that trait that you're like, I can't be that. I can't be that. Because if I do that, then it makes, it says this about me. And like, what if you took a nap, what would that say about you?
That I was lazy.
Yeah.
Non-productive.
Yeah.
Not motivated.
Not like, wow, I had just had a nap and now I feel like I'm on top of the world and it just restored me. I feel well rested, things like that.
Yeah.
Like one thing that I like to do is like between projects, I like to binge something, like a binge a show, right? Because what it does to me, it resets my mind, it resets my palette, my project palette. But like for people, like, and that's something I do not feel guilty about. I don't, because I know that it makes me more productive in my next project. But not everybody has the grace to hear that. Like
Yeah.
people would, I would say, yeah, I binged that show. When did you have time to? I made time to
Yeah.
binge that show
Yeah.
because you know why?
Yeah.
Because it helps clear my mind. It helps reset me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I bet that each one of you watching has something that you won't allow yourself to do
Mm-hmm.
because of a lie, of identity that's attached to it. You know, maybe like, and it's even funny. People, some people love money. You know, there's nothing wrong
Right.
with loving that. You know, some people are made to be a resource for the kingdom of God, and you better love money so that you can go and you can make it and you can reproduce it. But it's like we get trapped into this thing, you know. There's nothing wrong with money, but if you get an unhealthy relationship with money, that's a big problem. But nothing wrong with just being like, wow, I enjoy money. I
Yeah.
don't want it to rule your life and to be your life, but at the same time, it's just a resource. And so, but there's a lot of people that'll beat themselves up. We joke around here. We like nice things.
Yes.
We were just joking
Yeah.
the other day, like if we put expensive things out,
Same
we would
item.
just,
Yeah.
we
You put
could
the
pick
same
it.
item in front of me and don't tell me what the prices are. I will always pick the most expensive one. I can't help. I don't know. I just do. I always have.
And there's nothing to feel guilty about. Like a lot of times we want to, like I said, there's an identity that's attached to the things we're lying to ourselves about. So I really want y'all to look out for that if you find yourself having a difficult being honest with yourself. And another way I would say, we're really expanding these points, but I did want to make this point about it. If you well, I'm going to save that because I think I'll save it for the workshop. So
Okay.
maybe you have to come to the workshop. But one of the things we're going to talk about in the workshop is lying, is this radical honesty.
Yeah.
You know, be honest with yourself. If you're not, you're going to lie to yourself, and you're going to not be able to just to say like, wow, I love this, or I really enjoy this. And it's really going to limit your life, and it's really going to skew how you look at things, how you are literally going to deprive yourself of things that God is just wants to bless you with and wants to overflow on you. But it's like, no, I can't have that in my life. That would bring me too much joy.
Well, you know what? It would make you uncomfortable
It would, yes.
to be honest with yourself. And part of that sometimes is just asking someone that you can trust.
Yeah.
You know, hey, what do you see about this? Am I not seeing this right? Am I lying to myself about this? And that makes, because if you can't see it, sometimes it helps to have somebody else to.
I know. And it's funny because everybody around you can know it and not have a problem with it. But you're like, no, I'm not that person.
Yeah.
Or, yes, I am kind.
Yeah. That's so true.
I know. And, you know, there's a saying that says, what you think you're not,
And what you think you're not, you are.
And I remember growing up, like I always thought I was so impatient. And in a lot of ways I can be very impatient because I'm very passionate and I want things to happen when I want I want them now. But in the truest sense, I'm an extremely patient person.
Yeah.
Like I can work on something for years. I can wait for it to come to fruition. And so like me growing up thinking I'm so impatient. In the most important ways, I'm extremely, extremely, extremely patient. Do you have something like that? Something that you were taught that you weren't? Or
Well,
that
I wasn't thinking something I was taught. I think, and I am pretty laid back when I'm not stressed, but I used to always think I was super laid back. And then as I've gotten older, I'm like, I am not laid back. I am not. I'm intense and I am controlling.
Because and I love that you can say that because there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Like when we get to the idea that if there's anything about you that God wants to be different, he is going to do it. You're not going to do it. And I mean, God knows how he made us.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, yes, we have things that the world put on us and then we're in the process of peeling off. But if the Lord wants that shifted or change it, he will do it.
Yeah. Well, because I think the message I got was that it was more valuable to be laid back, meaning
Yes.
to be more flexible, to go with the flow, to not create problems, to allow things to be smooth. And I did learn to adapt, and
Yeah.
that it's helpful in a lot of ways, but it's not honest to really who I am.
But what's funny too is because, like I'd say here at the ministry, what we care about is peace.
Yeah.
And like if you were laid back like that, it would drive me crazy. Because then, you know what I mean? Like I think laid back is more like, not that the laid back person doesn't care, but they're not. I'm glad that
They're not as involved.
Yeah. Like, because I mean, sometimes like when we got to get something done, we can get it done.
Yeah.
I mean, there's peace there.
Yeah.
But we got to.
There's an intensity to
There
it.
is. That isn't bad.
Right.
And so I'm glad that you're able to see like there's some good things in those qualities
Yeah.
that we don't have to hide these things
Yeah.
about ourselves. I'm very intense. But I'm a very passionate person. There's a lot of great things that come with it. But I had to be honest with myself. Like I said, especially us coming from the South, we just
Yep.
need to be good little Southern women. But
I
that
get
doesn't
less and less
things
good
done.
at being a Southern woman all the time.
Yeah. And so just looking at how God made you to be and not trying to be something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we are running short on time and we still got plenty to get
Oh,
through.
we found a gold mine here.
I know. And honestly, we're going to talk a lot about this stuff too in our workshop this weekend. So make sure that you RSVP to that so that you can get the link. 3 realistic goals. And what I mean by this, you're not going to get a personality transplant. So many people want to be somebody 100% different. When I say a realistic goal, for one, align it with what God's doing in your life. You know, if he's trying to get you to Africa to be a missionary and you're like, my goal is to never leave my hometown. Like, that's funny, my accent. I know. Rob's like, you cannot do accents, Angie. I really can't, but I can do a Southern
Why
one.
don't you say it in British?
You were trying to embarrass myself.
I'm just
I don't
teasing.
even know. I cannot do.
Can't
That's
do
a whole-
it?
That's a whole different thing.
I could do it.
Okay, you do it.
What did you say? Oh, if you're from a small town and you want to be a missionary,
You can't.
you can't.
I remember. What's funny to me, on off note on accents, is there's a lot of people that sing without accents.
I know. It's
Like,
like when they sing, they sound American.
I know.
Or
And
when
then they talk, and you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
where did that come from?
I know.
Yeah.
But are there Americans that when they sing, they sound British? I don't know.
I don't know, but it's
I mean, I'm for real. I
interesting.
don't wonder if
know.
that happens.
You know, and even in the movies, you
Yeah.
can kind of hear it a little bit sometimes, but
Yeah, there's some people it's shocking to find out they have an accent from a different country
you're
when
like, whoa.
they did so well in the movie. Yeah.
Because
Or the
think about
show.
it, like an American is an accent. For
Yeah.
some people.
Yes. Yes.
Shocker.
100%.
We better get back to our topic. But realistic goals, like make them aligned with what God's doing in your life and with, I can think about is, I'm so distracted because the puppies here, we have assigned nationalities to them. And as soon as you said British, I thought about, because we call Rocco our British boy.
I think he's like Scottish. That's
You
how I
he's
think of him.
Scottish?
Yeah, but
He's
you think of
British
him
'cause
as
he's like
he's
a
very
little standoffish, a
yeah.
little proper.
He's very formal. Yeah.
Yes. Isabella, we call her our spicy Colombian
Yeah.
lady. Yes, she's so cute.
She's spicy.
But when you start thinking,
I
I
know.
start thinking about accents. Sorry, we get off topic here sometimes. But again, realistic goals. Make your goals realistic. Make them aligned with what God is doing in your life. Don't try to change who you are. Let Him lead the way with that. So important. You know, it's just like, you know, some people will be like, I'm going to fast for 50 days. Like, awesome if the Lord told you to fast for 50 days, but if He didn't, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because then it becomes a work of the flesh.
Yeah.
And you have to, if you create it, you maintain it. If He creates it, He maintains it.
Yeah.
Big difference. For accountability, and I don't mean accountability with your God squad. Like definitely have people around you that that you tell about your growth goals.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, make sure they're on your God squad, because you don't want to be telling people that are going to be like, that's stupid. Why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to, you want people that are for you and that are going to root for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like you're being accountable because you're like, I need you to force me to do this, but it helps to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. It's
Yeah.
like, it's almost like that prophetic activation, like we were talking about. Like you speak it out, somebody can be in agreement with you. Somebody can, when you're a little bit down, can encourage you.
Mm-hmm.
Accountability is so important.
Yeah.
And somebody to remind you, say, hey, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but you said to me that this was important to you. So I just want to repeat that back to you and remind that.
No, it's
this
one of
is
my
important to
favorite
you.
things that you do
Yeah.
sometimes is you're like, is this still the goal?
Yeah.
And it does kind of help bring you back to a place of like, oh yeah, that is. I forgot that was my goal. That's the plan. Yeah.
And that's why it's so important too, even with we talk about with setting the goals, write it down, put it on a Post-it
Yep.
note, put it on your thing. How many times have you just forgotten like something was your goal? Like it sounds crazy, but if it's not a habit yet, it really can be like that.
You have to know your whys.
You do.
That's what will keep you like when you don't feel motivated, that's what will keep
Yeah.
you going.
So accountability, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I put 5, environment. I got something in my eye. Environment, because environment is to me different than accountability, but it's kind of, my point I want to make about environment is love everybody. Absolutely 100%. But that doesn't mean you pull from everybody. Like if you are trying to grow, you want to run with growth-minded people. So who are you going to be taking your advice from? Like, love everybody. Everybody's value is the same. Jesus set your value. It's all the same. But understand that different people are going different places. And if you want to be growth-minded, run with growth-minded people. If you're a runner and you literally want to run with runners, because it is environment important. Environment is huge. If you are a spiritual 25-year-old and you're hanging out with a spiritual 1-year-old, I got a problem with that. Not because, if you're taking advice, because what it becomes is it's a imbalance in power, and you get weird things happening when there's an imbalance of power. Run with people that are spiritually yoked, because you know why a spiritual 25-year-old hangs around with a spiritual 1-year-old and takes advice? Hear me, don't come for me. I'm not saying every single time, but I'm saying as a general trend, that's true, because if this spiritual if they don't want accountability, who are they going to hang around? They're going to hang around people who don't call them out. So very, very important when you think about your environment. It says what your environment is says a lot about you. To me, it says a lot about people's characters. It tells me a lot about what their growth mindset is. Because why? Because who you surround yourself with is huge.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about just like your God squad. I'm talking about like if you're going to school, who are you hanging out with at school? Are you hanging out with the people who are serious? Or are you hanging out with the people who are just like, oh, I don't care. I just wanted to, burn some time. Like your environment is huge, because they'll have you acting like them long before you'll have them acting like you. And that's important to remember. Yes, 100%. Another way I think you can see that is, we call it missionary dating. When you have somebody that's spiritually mature, I'm doing that in air quotes because it means they're not. Spiritually mature person dating an unbeliever. And hear me, nothing wrong with being an unbeliever. Nothing wrong with being spiritually mature. I'm not making that the difference. What I'm saying is that there's an imbalance in power. If I'm a spiritually mature person, I want to run with people who are like, who are like me. Not that I can't, I hang around unbelievers all the time. People will be upset about that too. But it doesn't matter except in your intimate relationships. If you're dating for marriage and you're dating somebody who has a different faith than you, and I mean like radically different, like you have different ideas, then there's a lot of reasons why people do that, and none of them are good. Just gonna say that. So when you talk about environment, there's reasons that like this is predatory. I mean,
Yeah,
it just is.
it is.
Like I'm not saying
You
like,
mean like if you're more spiritually
Yeah.
mature and you're hanging out with other people who are not, and you know you're doing that,
Yes.
that's predatory.
Yes, it's controlling. It's manipulative.
Yeah.
It's witchcraft. It's like a lot of different things. And by saying hanging out, I'm saying we're all equal. Everybody go together. But if if it's like this and you're best friends, that's a problem.
Yeah.
If you're like this and you're dating, that's a problem. So we could go on. We could have a whole
I know
workshop
that
about
when you
that.
talk about it, it
Because
makes me
it's
think of a lot of
abusive.
things. It
And
is
it's toxic.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean,
and you love it. You radically honest
Just
with
to
yourself.
yourself.
You
Yeah.
love it. Yeah.
you'd be like, I like hanging around people that can't challenge me.
Yeah.
I like hanging around people that like, because once you're honest with yourself about it, then you're going to be like, ooh,
Yeah.
I don't like that. And Lord, tell me more about that. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to condemn yourself for it. You just ask the Lord, like, show me more.
And you're not
about
talking
that.
about like I think a lot of people will gauge their spiritual maturity based off of like a checklist.
Yeah.
It's not the checklist
No, no.
that defines spiritual maturity.
No.
You know,
God doesn't give you a checklist.
Right.
Sorry. Like, not in the way that
they're like,
we want
I go to
do it.
church 3 times a week, and they only go once. But I think if I hang out with them, I can
And
get
I'd
them
be
to
like,
come more.
and the devil knew the whole Bible. The devil knew all the scriptures. Like,
Exactly.
I mean, just
Exactly.
It's that's a whole nother time.
Yeah.
But and 6, become a learner. Become have that mindset of a learner. There's nothing worse than somebody that's just not teachable.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's hard.
Because what do you if you're growth minded and you're not teachable, you're not growth minded. We talked about it before at several times. There's something that's called a false growth mindset, and we could talk forever on that.
Yeah.
Like people that want the checklist, that want to talk the talk but don't walk the walk. And so like if you're a learner, I love it when somebody says something like, hey, I don't know what that word means. What does that word mean? Oh my gosh, yes, let's look it up together. Or let's like ask questions. And it's okay. Don't be afraid of looking ignorant. Don't be afraid of looking stupid. Like when I know some people say there are stupid questions, but there's really not.
I
Like if
disagree
you
with.
don't
Yeah,
know
I think there's
something,
not.
or if you're just having like, gosh, there's this concept and I just really am having a hard time grasping it. That's all of us in different areas. And so when you have like the humility of a student, a humility of a learner, I just think that's a beautiful thing because that's how you learn the most.
Yeah,
But when you have somebody come in and they just know everything,
yeah,
like that, it just, it makes me sick. It really does because you can't learn anything.
Yeah.
And you can't enjoy being around those people. I don't enjoy being around
No.
people who think they know everything when in reality, a lot of times it's just this, overcompensation because they don't feel like they know everything.
Well, and I think you can learn from anybody.
Oh my gosh,
I mean,
anybody.
everybody you see is what your teacher. Everybody I meet,
Everybody is your
everybody I meet
teacher.
is my teacher. Everybody. Today I went to the poison place.
mouse house.
Yes, and the girl was so helpful
Wasn't
because
she fantastic?
I went in and I said, "This is what I need. Like I need to get some of this, and this is
She's
what I'm
like,
going to do
"That
with
is
it."
not what you need.
Yeah, and I said, "Okay, tell me what I need." And she did, and she taught me everything, and I learned so much about it. And she said there was another group of people that came in after me, and she said, "Oh my God, I'm having so much fun teaching about
Yeah.
this." And I thought that's so neat that she had fun doing that. And I thought it's because I was teachable. I was in a learner mindset when I was in there, and I was just open, and I wanted the information. And
You went in there with an idea. I mean, we had an idea.
Yeah.
We're going to put it in here.
Yeah.
And we're going to put it in the bins and they'll eat it.
Yep.
And she was like, no.
Yeah.
And we were like, tell
Okay.
us more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but there's some people that would have been like, hey, don't tell me how to do it. I know how to do it. And this is what I'm going to do. Just give me what I asked for.
Yeah.
I know that because there's people that come in here and do
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And so
Not a problem if
Not
you come in with
teachable?
a preconceived idea
No,
of what the problem
not
is
at
or what you
all.
think is the
But when you're
solution.
so rigid that you can't think outside of that is
Right.
problematic.
Yeah.
Because you can't learn. Nobody can say anything. Nobody can do anything.
Yeah.
And I'll say the older I get, the more I know I don't know.
Yeah.
Like before, like when you're 20 years old, you're like, I thought I knew
I
a
know
lot.
everything. Yeah.
Now, I'll be like, you know what? I don't
I
know.
don't-
That
maybe-
could be true.
Me too.
Because I've been proved wrong so many times.
Yeah.
Because, and it's scriptural that we think that way. Our minds are to be transformed. Why are they to be transformed? Because they're not right. You are not right in the head. I'm sorry. I wasn't. I'm not still. You're not.
Right.
Because why? Because our minds are always to be transformed. Because why? Because we have earthly ideas and we're exchanging them for kingdom mindsets and kingdom ideas and the ways of our Father. Even though, at salvation we were given so many gifts, we have to grow in those gifts, and we have to, I hate to say grow in the gifts, but we have to grow in our knowledge and understanding that they were free gifts given to us. And that's important.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
we don't have it all figured out day one of salvation. I'm sorry to tell you. And the only way that you do that is you put yourself in a position that you can learn and you can grow. So 6, be a learner. And 7, this is our last one in the list. 7, seek God's presence. So many times we want the checklist. We want the rule that we can be like, so I can measure it and I did this. And we miss the whole point. The whole point of spiritual growth, of mental growth, is that we're able to transform our minds so that we understand the kingdom more and more and more. And you're not going to do it without the presence of the Holy Spirit. You're not going to get that Rhema understanding without his presence. So above all, seek his presence. Don't seek like, I want God do this, God do this, God do this. No, Lord, what do you want from me? Lord, what do you want my goals to be this year? Lord, this just happened and I feel funny about it and I don't understand what it is and I'm lacking clarity. Lord, give me clarity. All we have to do is ask. And he's a generous Father that wants to give it to you. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
If you will seek his presence, he is a Father that wants to overflow on you.
I think when we look back on this whole list, if you think about like being in his presence,
Oh
it
my
makes all of this work.
It does.
You can be in the presence of the Lord and be like, Lord, he can put you in uncomfortable positions and situations and awkward things, and it could be a beautiful thing in his presence. And then you're going to be radically honest. Everything on this thing, realistic goals. Lord, what are your goals?
Yep.
Accountability. He'll bring the people in. Like, you can just go through,
Absolutely.
and everything about his presence will.
Yeah. And the feel. Not that life is all about feelings, but to feel his presence is the most serene, the most calming, the most just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. My trip back, I was listening to this teaching, and it was teaching about this act. It's weird. Like on my CarPlay, it has my different teachings in there. So randomly, like a teaching will just pop up. So I was listening to this teaching, and it happened to be on discerning of spirits, and it was talking about the smells. Like you can smell angels and you can smell demons, but it was talking about smelling of an angel. And I thought, oh Lord, just your presence, like that's so part of it. Even just, in this particular teaching, they were talking about just the sweetest scent, the most heavenly thing that you've ever smelled before. And it's like, and they were like, where is that wonderful smell coming from? And it was it was just the presence of the Lord, the presence of the Trinity. And, like that's what it's like. The best smell that you've ever had, the best hug that you've ever had, the best just feeling when you're in the presence of his anointing, the presence of his power, the presence, just his presence doing nothing. And that's where, like, nothing can compare to that. I promise you. If you seek his presence in growing, oh my gosh, like, just, people get healed in the presence of the Lord. Like, there doesn't even have to be like, thou shalt be healed. Like, just being in his presence is healing. And so putting a priority on that for your 2025 growth, just seek his presence, because in it you will grow, in it you will heal, in it you will know all that you need to know. Right?
Yeah.
So good. So we expect people to grow in 2025. Why? Because we gave you tips on how to do it, and you're going to get with the Lord, and it's going to align with his plans for your life. So let's pray. Hopefully RSVP to the workshop. We'll see everybody at the workshop. And if not, we'll see you back here, same time, same place next week.
Yep.
Let's pray us out. Dear Lord, I just thank you, Lord, most of all for your presence, Lord, for your love, for your gifts. Lord, thank you that we can boldly come before the throne and we can smell your sweet, sweet scent that just encompasses everything, that overshadows any problem we would have, any worry we would have, any doubt. Lord, I just thank you for your presence. Lord, I thank you that you just make for us a place to keep reaching higher and higher and higher, not because you're disappointed in us, not because you need us to be a certain way, but Lord, we are just little mini yous that are able to, for us to realize, like, oh my gosh, I'm so like my Father. I carry my Father's DNA. Lord, that you're not disappointed in us. That's not the point of growth. The point of growth is that so that we know that you never turn your back on us, that you always love us. Lord, I thank you for that. In Jesus' name, amen.